Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, a French female MP receives a standing ovation at the nation's parliament as she returns months after she accused a senator of having drugged her with the aim of sexual assault. The man is facing preliminary charges. Also, the remarkable story of a Nepalese teenager who grew up to become the founder of Wuka, a British company which makes period pants, the first company to do so. I'll be talking to Ruby Raut shortly. And when social media is a tool for positivity, how Tunisian women are using platforms such as Facebook and Instagram to promote gender equality. But we begin in France with a case that sent shockwaves across the political establishment. French MP Sandrine Josso was given a standing ovation at the French Parliament, sealing a long-awaited comeback after she accused a senator of drugging her. In November, she told prosecutors that the senator had spiked her drink at his apartment to try and sexually assault her. He's now facing preliminary charges while Josso is calling for a government commission to tackle the issue of date rape. Andrew Hillier has more.
A standing ovation from MPs on the right and left of French politics as Sandrine Josso makes her comeback in the National Assembly. In her first speech since November, she addressed the government directly, urging it to tackle head-on the crime of spiking drinks to carry out sexual assault.
I'm not speaking to you as a female victim. I'm speaking to you as a national MP who's outraged that this issue hasn't been given the attention it deserves.
Back in November, she accused French Senator Joël Guerriau of spiking her drink with ecstasy while she was at his Parisian apartment. She described her ordeal to French television at the time.
I had a first sip. I found that the champagne didn't have the same taste as normal. I thought I was going to die from a heart attack. I thought he was going to assault me in the lift because I was hardly able to stand up.
When police searched the senator's apartment, they found ecstasy in his kitchen. Health professionals say more needs to be done to support victims.
We have to fight across the board. We need to invest in prevention and in training professionals who know how to better spot victims and support them. It's not enough to listen. We need to provide the appropriate responses too.
In the meantime, Sandrine Josso has urged the government to set up a commission that'll help victims going forward.
Now, since the beginning of 2024, sales tax on period pants in the UK has been abolished. It might not sound like a critical move, but it is indeed a victory for those pushing for menstrual equity. Period pants contain a highly absorbent lining and can be used in place of sanitary pads. They can be washed and reused, just like ordinary pants. Also here in France, from this year onwards, reusable sanitary products have become free for people aged under 25. It's part of a growing movement worldwide to address the problem of traditionally unsustainable sanitary products such as tampons. Now, one of the key people behind the campaign to push for an end to sales tax for period pants is UK Nepalese entrepreneur Ruby Raut. She herself has an extraordinary life story to tell, and so I'm very delighted to say that she joins me in the studio today. Ruby, thank you so much for your time. Let's now start with your own tale. Menstruation in Nepalese society is very much a taboo. So what was it like growing up there as a young girl where period shaming is very much part of society?
I was 12 when I had my first period, and one of the things my mum did was took her old sari, cut into small pieces, and gave me a stack of them and said that they are my menstrual product for the rest of my life. And together with it, she told me that for my first period, I can't stay at home because I can't be seen by my father.
That's incredible.
It's ridiculous. Rules still goes on. Extreme in some part of Nepal, where women and girls are banished for bleeding into cow shed or a menstrual hut. In my case, I went to my aunt's house 2 doors down. And in the beginning, I thought, being with my cousin, I'll have a great time. But I was almost isolated in one room. Plates, bowls, cup separated. Often whenever the food and water was passed, it was passed on the floor. So you almost become a prisoner. because periods are seen as dirty.
It really is an amazing story when you think that you came from that background. Now, fast forward to the UK in 2010, where you arrived. You actually were a student, you were cleaning houses to earn money. So, of course, the big question is, how did you get from that point to now becoming a successful founder of a period pants manufacturing company?
I think I was always an entrepreneur in heart. I think when I came to UK, I was actually overwhelmed to see the stores, an entire aisle covered with just pads and tampons. You think of it with strings, without strings, wings, day pad, night pad, panty liners. It was when I did my graduation, I did environmental science, and my study was on waste, and that really transformed my life. I came out to become an environmentalist after my graduation and started looking into those same aisle. I grew up wearing sustainable product, but in that same aisle, there was nothing sustainable. In fact, if you're looking at a packet of pads, it contains almost 90% plastic in them. And sad part is, we women who menstruate, people who menstruate, we don't know about it. So I took the matter in my own hands and designed almost the same ethos of sari rag in the underwear, but this time I stitched the rag in the underwear. And I tried it.
Explain to me the name, Wuka.
Wuka stands for Wake Up Kick Ass.
And why did you choose that?
Because we should wake up kick ass, I think something that I grew up was in a very patriarchal society. So often girls are seen as a burden to the society. So I always tell this story about whenever people used to say what do you want to be when you grow up? And I used to always say I want to beat boys. And I think that's the attitude I've got. And I wanted to bring it to the brand.
And how hard was it at the beginning to attract support and investment?
Very hard. And I think I went the hard route. I did a Kickstarter campaign in 2017 with knowing maybe I had 10 person that I knew to go and ask for support. But the Kickstarter community was quite good. I got 112 people supporting me, and I raised £7,000 at that time.
And what's the turnover now?
We do 5 million.
So you went from £7,000 in 2017 to
Yes.
£5 million
Yes.
in 2023. That's pretty extraordinary.
It is. And I think it's a significant growth. Also, for a product that has never been introduced into the market, when we launched Wuka in the UK, there was no such thing as period underwear. So educating and people is the biggest challenge, awareness. Because we have been using the same product for decades and decades, right? So it's a challenging market, but I think with the rise of awareness around sustainability, but also women knowing their own body and what is right to use and what not.
Ruby, what is your reaction to the UK government's decision to eliminate sales tax on periods pants? I mean, that's a pretty astounding victory on your part and on the part of others, isn't it?
It is, and it has been a 4-year battle with the government. As I said, period pants never exist, so the category never existed. So they put a clothing tax of 20%. Period pants are also, when you see in the front, they are expensive than your pads and tampons. So people often get deterred by thinking that they are going to be expensive. But in 2 years' time, you're saving 50% using period underwear versus tampons and pads. So that's a huge benefit. Half of the world's population has period, over half of the world's population. And yet, why should we pay the government to bleed?
Finally, Ruby, what would you tell your 12-year-old self?
Be brave. I would 100% with heart, when you are growing up, be brave, take risk, because that's what's going to shape you when you grow old.
But you've done that already, haven't you, Ruby?
I have. And I think, and that's what has set me aside to many other Nepalese girls who are all around the world. I'm sure they have got their voices as well, right? So to any young generation that's come in, be brave, be confident. That's what I say. You make mistakes in life, but mistakes are there to learn from and not to worry about.
Ruby, it's been wonderful having you here today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
To Tunisia now, where social media networks are extremely popular. An estimated 7 million people use Facebook, while some 3 million use Instagram, out of a population of 12 million. As a result, these platforms are becoming a place to challenge social norms about gender equality, as our team on the ground report.
Le deuxième projet, نقعدوا في الفن, sauf que là c'est des bijoux.
On Instagram, Fatma Baoun showcases women entrepreneurs in Tunisia to her more than 1 million followers. She also uses her platform to discuss the everyday pressures of being a woman.
La société nous demande ou nous impose
Society
beaucoup de
asks or demands of us a lot of things, and that's cultural. Because when I grew up, I saw that my mother was a mother, was someone who worked and did house chores. She did so many things, and that's kind of the topic I want to address.
C'est ce genre de sujet que j'ai envie d'aborder.
Her husband appears as well in videos tackling modern partnership. She also contributes commentary to the website Faza on subjects likely to spark debate, such as menstruation.
ما فماش لي رجل, ما فماش انتي, ما فماش انتي, وما فماش انتي.
Digital platforms allow more open discussion of taboo subjects. Journalist Emna Benjema created an online magazine for women, Benetna, which means between us in Arabic. One example, a video on the unequal distribution of household chores.
Tunisian women on average spend 8 hours a day doing unpaid labor compared to men who only spend 45 minutes. They either take the trash out or buy bread. So this gap is important in terms of fatigue because women also have regular jobs.
While Benetna is still in its early stages, the concept is resonating. Its video series won a French language media prize for Best Digital Show in North Africa.
And that's it for now, and we'd love to hear from you, so do reach out to us via Facebook, Instagram or X, of course formerly known as Twitter. So until our next show, bye for now.